Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We'll just give, as we usually do, just an extra 2 minutes for people who are loading on the program, etc. So we'll start at 2 minutes past the hour. Thank you. Okay, good afternoon, morning, and evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for joining us. This is a town hall just to discuss and to inform you about our plans for the IGF 2021 meeting, what's going to happen from here until the IGF, explain a little bit about the hybrid format, and also to get your questions, ideas, etc. So I'll just do a little bit of an introduction, which is this, and then you'll have a welcome from the MAG chair and also from our host country. And then we'll just give an overview of the program and how the hybrid IGF 2021 will function. And then we will open up the floor for questions and answers and also your suggestions, because we do believe that the IGF is a community effort. And in order for us to make it successful, we listen to everybody and all ideas are welcome. If you do not manage to give your ideas during this session, please always feel free to email us at igf@un.org, and we will always take note of your suggestions and questions. So with that, I will just give the floor to our MAG chair, Ms. Henriette Esterhuizen, to say a few welcome words. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Shangatai, and welcome to everyone that's joined us today. My name is Henriette Esterhuizen. As Shangatai said, I'm speaking to you from South Africa. I hope my internet connection holds. Shangatai, is it clear enough? Should I disable my video, or is it strong enough at the moment? I can't hear you. I think you're muted.
It is very clear, and
excellent.
I see you well as well.
So when mobile, I'm actually in a remote area, but it's working. I just wanted to welcome everyone and give a bit of context to this town hall, this discussion. As you all know, IGF 2020 was a fully virtual IGF. And at that time, we were anticipating that the pandemic would be fully under control. As usual, as human beings, we tend to overestimate our capacity to deal with disasters. And we were hoping to have a face-to-face IGF 2021. As things materialized, that's not possible. And we're having a hybrid IGF, which means that we're having an IGF which we hope will be rich and valuable and meaningful to people, both in its virtual character and in the face-to-face component that it will have. And we think this is actually important because it's an investment, the learning that we are putting into having a successful, we hope, virtual IGF 2021, is learning that we'll be carrying with us, all of us, in our national meetings, our regional meetings, and our international global meetings, because the world has changed and we are going to have to work more and more with this type of hybrid format. I want to just emphasize that inclusivity is extremely important. So when we look at what will make for a successful hybrid IGF, inclusivity is really the criteria. And in the IGF context, inclusivity is quite specific. It's inclusivity in terms of region, in terms of global south and global north, in terms of gender, ability, disability, language. So we actually have a huge list of dimensions of inclusivity that we try to address. I don't think we ever address them perfectly successfully, but we are making a lot of effort to be as inclusive as possible. The other dimension of inclusivity in the IGF is newcomers, people that have not participated before, or people that are concerned with the internet and internet policy, but not necessarily part of the existing internet governance ecosystem. And IGF 2020 was enormously successful in that regard. We had, I think it was 59% of participants were first-time IGF participants. So we're hoping to achieve that again. And today you will hear more about what the Secretariat, what the MAG, the Multi-Stakeholder Advisory Group, has a working group that has been dedicated to the hybrid nature of IGF 2021. You'll also hear what the host country has been planning. And really, the host country has put an enormous amount of effort into supporting the hybrid nature of this IGF. And some people have asked, why are we having a face-to-face IGF at all? And we received a very significant letter with very useful pointers and questions from a group of civil society organizations a few months ago. And we've used that letter also as a framework for discussing how to be sufficiently participative and inclusive. But one of the points that emerged from that is that having a virtual IGF is not part, well, let me put it differently. Let me start from a different place. We can have a virtual IGF if we have to, and many IGF components of the IGF, some of the intersessional work takes place virtually. But the face-to-face hosted in a particular country, in a particular part of the world, is a very important aspect of the IGF model that has evolved since 2006. It enables us to create more awareness of internet governance and internet policy challenges in one part of the world, in one country. It allows newcomers who are not part of the IGF process yet to join face-to-face, but in this case also to join virtually. And it also allows us to open up the networking that's part of the IGF in a particular region. So having this event hosted in Poland it's absolutely valuable in terms of what it can bring to the host country, but it's also valuable in terms of what it brings to us as a globally interconnected and constantly evolving IGF community and ecosystem. So really, just to close my opening remarks, we are here to share what our plans are to date, but we are also here today to listen to you, to hear what your ideas are, your suggestions, any concerns that you have. There are limitations, but within those limitations, we want to go as far as we possibly can in terms of making this as fully inclusive a hybrid IGF as possible. So thanks for joining us, and I look forward to hearing you all. And Shengatai, back to you.
Thank you very much, Henriette. Next, I'd like to give the floor to Mr. Michael Pukaluk, Mikal, from the host country. We've been working very hard together to bring the IGF 2021 to you. Mikal.
Thank you, Changatai, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon. I have the privilege of speaking to you on behalf of the host country. Will be a host for this year's event, and my role here is to give you basic details on the venue and run you through the program and all relevant information that you might need. And this is going to be a three-stage act from my side. So first we'll start with some introductory remarks, which is now then the structure and then the venue itself in more detail. Before we start, I'd like to invite you to watch that teaser we put together some time ago, and it presents the basic idea of this year's IGF, and after that I will resume with some more remarks on the event, on the venue. Sorry, and then I'll have some more slides to you as we run along. Thank you.
We all live in a digital world. We all need it to be open and safe. We all want to trust
and to be trusted.
We all despise control
and desire freedom.
We are all united.
Victor, thank you very much for presenting this. This is the idea we're hoping to put across in this dialogue in December along with you. And just a couple of words on the venue. The IGF is going to take place in Katowice, which is Silesia, in one of the biggest conference venues in Poland, International Congress Center. We're going to have a lot of space there, and as Andrea said, we are heading very much for physical meeting, plus the hybrid component is going to be extraordinary. I mean, everyone who can join us in Katowice will have the opportunity to be with us online with all that it takes to be fully participating in the event. So this is all from me right now, and I will get back to you with more detail as we play this along. Thank you very much. Changatai, back to you.
Thank you very much, Mikal. So I'll just give a little presentation on how we plan to achieve the hybrid format of the IGF, and also how we plan to go, what we're going to be doing from now until 6 December. So let me just share my screen. If you would just... Okay. I've already done this. So I'll just go over a little bit about the structure of the IGF 2021 program. So the IGF 2021 process features a lot of intersessional work, preparatory work, and we also have the preparatory and engagement phase, which basically starts now until the end of November. And then we're going to have the main meeting, which is going to be from the 6th and 10th of December. And as Mikhail says, this is going to be in Katowice in Poland. And the IGF, when the MAG prepared the program, they really sought out to make it an issue-driven approach, and with full inclusion, regardless of whether you're able to be there in Katowice or you're online, and particularly also with the prep phase, because we really wanted the prep phase to prepare people for the IGF 2021 main meeting, so that when we get to the meeting, we are there with a matured discussion, and that we can come to some conclusions, some concrete steps ahead, instead of trying to figure out what we are talking about as such. So we want to really, the outcomes of the IGF 2021 annual meeting to be actionable and to actually produce mature results based on what we're doing during the preparatory and the engagement phase. So if you go to our website, there is some narratives that are available, and the guide to the issues that we are having, and also to the policy questions. And I think Anya is going to put a link to that in the chat for us. So for our issues, we have got the economic, social inclusion, and human rights. We have universal access and meaningful connectivity. We also have emerging regulation, that is market structure, content, data, consumer users' rights, and regulation. And then we have environmental sustainability and climate change. This is our newest issue area. We started it last year, and I think it is still growing, and there's a lot of interest in it. And it is also very, very pertinent, especially in today's environment, today's situation, where climate change is very, very important, and internet governance does play a role in trying to mitigate the effects of climate change, and also help distribute the information that people may have to help other people mitigate the changes of the climate change. And then we have inclusive internet governance, ecosystems, and digital cooperation, and then trust, security, and stability. So for the 16th IGF, we have over 200 plus sessions under these issue areas. And then we have the high level track. And the high level track, we do have it also on our website. You can go more into it. I will not go into detail in each of these tracks, because we only have a very short amount of time, and we're actually more interested to hear what you have to say to us, what questions, what we can elaborate on, because all this information is already on our IGF website. We have the parliamentary track. And these are going to be 5 sessions in all, with their penultimate session being in Katowice, but with the intersessional work, we're going to have 4, and the first one is going to be in the 20th of September. And I also asked for that link for the parliamentary track to be put into the chat. So we are inviting all parliamentarians. If you know of any parliamentarians who are interested, please direct them to us. They can register and take part in it, because we do believe that parliamentarians are the ones that do construct these regulatory instruments, and in order to do that, they should have a good understanding of the issues at hand, and also how the internet works. We will be providing funding for parliamentarians to come to to Katowice as well. And this is for parliamentarians, of course, from the Global South. We have a very involved youth track, and I would like to also compliment the host country. They have put a lot of effort into the youth track and a lot of resources into the youth track. And I would also encourage all youth to please join the youth track and also help us. And we unfortunately, we have closed the funding for the youth track. That was on 30th of August for people who want to come in, but you can still participate online if you can, or you can also participate using the hubs. We are also investing a lot into our hubs, and we feel that these are very important groupings that can contribute a lot to the IGF, especially from countries where it is difficult to come to Katowice. Instead of doing it online by yourselves, to do it with a group. We have the newcomers track and the IGF village, and we also have a lot of social events. Now, as we said, the preparatory engagement phase, not just preparatory engagement, but everything we do at the IGF is community driven, and we have community driven substantive sessions during the preparatory and the engagement phase. And there's a lot of collaborative work on these issue areas. And also we are going to be having training sessions for organizers, and these will, of course, will be published on the IGF website. For the intersessional work, we do also have our best practice forums. We have the best practice forum on cybersecurity, best practice forum on gender and digital rights. And we have our policy networks on environment. The policy network on environment is a brand new policy network, and also the policy network on meaningful access is also brand new, but it's also borrowing a lot from what we did in connecting the next billion. We have 22 dynamic coalitions, and all this you can find on our website. We have dynamic coalitions on a wide range of things. And as you know, dynamic coalitions are a collection of 3 or more stakeholder groups coming together to address an issue. Access and disability, we have rights online, we have 22 of them, so please look at our website and see them. And we have a lot of capacity development work that we are doing. And for our national and regional initiatives, we have over 137 of these, and they're growing every day. And it's not just for the national and regional initiatives. We also got a lot of youth initiatives as well, and the link is going to be put into the chat, and you can take a look. And if there is a your national IGF or your regional IGF or even a youth IGF that's near you in your country or in your region, please reach out to them and join them, because they're all part of the network. Now, for the hybrid format, as Henriette has said, that for the hybrid format, it is blended participation for the IGF, so that people can participate regardless of where they are, whether they are on site or at home, in whichever continent they will be. And we are striving for them to be able to contribute equally as peers. And they can do this individually, and as I said, they can do it in groups using the hubs. And the objective here is to make the IGF 2021 meaningful and inclusive for all participants. Now, how are we going to be implementing the hybrid format? There is the physical venue, which we will also be constructing online. So it's going to be, there's also going to be an online 3D venue, just like, I don't know if you remember the Second Lives and etc. So we have commissioned that, and it's going to, so whether so for the IGF Village booths, you'll be able to browse around, and you'll also be able to join the sessions as well. Now, the joiner sessions, it's just going to be an interface where you can join the Zoom room. But for the IGF Village booths, this is where we are actually spending a lot of time and effort trying to make 3D representations of these booths at the venue. Now, as we mentioned, all sessions are going to be hosted in Zoom. And so we are also going to have a, sorry, I have to drink something. Yeah, thanks. There is also going to be a floor request speaking system. So whether you're inside the venue, inside the room, or outside using Zoom, you will request the floor in the same way using the floor request system. And we do have a mobile app for that. So it really doesn't matter where you are. It's not a show of hands. Your name will appear and the moderator will call your name in the order that it appears. So that actually levels the playing field, whether you're in the venue or outside the venue through Zoom. And then all the sessions, you can either be, all the panelists and all the moderators, you can be on site, physically there, you can be totally off site, and you can be anything in between as well. We are creating systems where that it will all work. No matter what percentage of the panelists are on-site or off-site, including the moderators as well, and also including the audience. And we've asked all the session organizers to work in the interactive format. And we will also have bilateral meetings that will allow for stakeholders to connect online into the room, because we usually have those bilateral meeting rooms. Now, the standard working hours for the venue have been extended. Usually for UN meetings, that's from 10 to 6. So now it's going to be from 9 a.m. until 7 p.m. Unfortunately, we couldn't do it longer because it is very, very expensive to extend these hours. And if we had extended them longer, then it would have meant having a brand new shift come in, and that means doubling the expenses. And also we have to keep in the labor laws as well. So unfortunately, we could only extend them for that long. And we will also, especially for the remote hubs, we will also give participants the opportunity to make comments and to make interventions before the session starts and also after the session starts. And everything, as soon as the session starts, it's going to be on YouTube, and it's going to remain on YouTube, and people can send in comments based on what they see and based on what they hear. And we will, of course, incorporate those into the proceedings of the meeting. We have network sessions as well, and those are also going to be in hybrid sessions, and we are going to have music night and receptions. We are still not quite sure how that works, especially with the music night, because copyright issues, etc. But we will see how we can try and include people who are outside the venue. For the COVID-19 and 16th IGF, we do know and we are well aware that this is a concern, and we will be implementing the regulations based on the UN standards and based on the Polish, the host country's standards as well. And you can go to the website of the Polish government where they have the current regulations there. And please check back. I think you have to check weekly. I mean, I'm based in Switzerland, and in Switzerland, the regulations are changing on a weekly basis. So they might loosen, they might be stricter. So please always check on a regular basis what the regulations are. For the host country website as well, we do have for visas, all the information is available on the Polish website, and I think my colleague from Poland will say a little bit more about that, so I won't go into his section here. And also the venue's safety, I'll leave that to my Polish colleague, but just be fully aware that we are under constant discussion and we are all watching the situation very, very carefully. So let me just finish here, and I'd like to hear your views on questions you might have, something that's not clear on our website, on the slides. What else do you think we need to consider, and what are your expectations for the hybrid for the hybrid meeting? Thank you for that. And with that, I will give the floor back to our host country. Mikael?
Sorry, Changitai, I have a problem putting myself back in. Thank you. Most of what I'm going to say for this part has either been covered by Changitai or is standard to the IGF. So what comes as a surprise to you? Just we're looking here at 4 or 3 things, the key things that we think are very important. A main theme you've already been briefed into, that internet, a united, free, open, indivisible internet. We're going to have a high-level session, 7 sessions altogether. We are in the process of extending personal invitations to ministers of digital affairs from across the globe, and so far we've had some 27 or 28, if I'm not mistaken, confirmations. So there's going to be a healthy representation in this regard. We're going to continue the parliamentary debate, and we have a lot of input and contribution from the Polish Parliament, Polish Sejm, who's very active. And as far as I know, there's even going to be a parliamentary session of their own in Katowice. We are in talks with the Polish Parliament right now, but there's going to be a debate also at the type you could already see in Berlin and on the online IGF a year ago. So we're going to have that too, and we're going to also to, as Chante said, we're going to make a specific case for the youth. We're going to have more than 10 events dedicated to the youth, plus the IGF Youth Summit. And Victor, can I please have the next slide, please? Victor, sorry, can you? Oh, yeah, thank you. So, as I said, Youth Summit, over 10 different events dedicated to making the event meaningful to the youth. Now, there is going to be also the day zero, which is mostly host country pre-events. We've had more than 100 applications, so we had to be a bit, quite picky about who's going in. The agenda. And we are also going to have an evening reception followed by a music concert, which will be open to everybody. This is going to be broadcast live by the Polish state television, and this is a concept concert, and we'll be looking to show you a bit of Poland. Give you some quality entertainment on Poland and its music. Now on who's coming and expected participation. As I said, the save the date was extended to all UN member states with a view to get their ministers of visitor affairs. Of course, we are awaiting final word from the Secretary General. The Prime Minister will also be present for a couple of days. Actually, will be addressed by the President. The Marshal, the Speaker of the Polish Sejm, will probably head the parliamentary track on the 7th. We will have two commissioners, Mr. Breton and Mrs. Vestager. Of course, a representative of national parliaments. This is the IPU who is taking care of that. We're also going to have a delegation from the European Parliament. And last but not least, IGF is a multi-stakeholder forum, so we're going to have representations from all the sectors that are normally at the table at the IGF. And it's been a tradition for the IGF hosts to bring new communities to the IGF, and our ambition, our goal is to bring the youth with numerous events and attractions that we are having for them. May just draw attention to one of them is a global competition by Intel of the future. It's already been out. We are awaiting applications right now. We already had a couple of hundred of them, if I'm not mistaken, and there's a dedicated website on that. Our ambition here is to simply put a message across on the IGF and show to the young people that there is a big forum that is really recruiting, so to speak, right now, hiring new minds and new hearts to the process. So this is on the structure in the nutshell. I will come back with more details on the venue. Thank you very much.
Hi, Michael. Why don't you just go straight into the venue?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yes. So this slide presents basic information on how we so to speak break down the venue, and for the day zero and for the main body of the IGF, we're going to have one big plenary hall, which is the main meeting room, and we're going to have interpretation there available for all UN languages. We're going to have 13 workshops, workshop rooms on day zero, and 10 for the rest of the proceedings. The food court, which is open to everybody, big place, really spacious. And we're also going to have a lot of bilateral rooms. This is available at request for whoever wants to book one. There will be a system for that. Next slide, please. Yeah, well, this is what the venue looks like. It hosted a lot of conferences, trade fairs. It was home for COP24, which housed more than 20,000 people. Yeah, so just an overview. You might wish to visit the website. I believe Victor has already shared a link in the chat. Next slide, please. Yes, on the equipment, I believe some of that has already been covered by Changatai, so I think I'll be more helpful to you when I answer your questions. We're going to have technical equipment in each of the workshop rooms, projection screens, conference microphones, lighting, pizza cameras, and Wi-Fi, which is going to be solid, really. And technical support in each room. Apart from the stuff on site, which comes from the operator, we're also going to have volunteers, so that there are no technical problems, or if they are quickly reported to whoever can take care of the problems. Next slide, please. Yes, I'd like just to take this opportunity to invite you to explore more information on the host country at the official webpage, which is igf2021.pl, a news agenda, registration opportunities, practical information, as well as including also hotels. We have a dedicated system for booking hotels. Please don't wait and do it now. On the visas, I'll be able to elaborate more on that when concrete questions are asked from you. Next slide, please. We are to be reached out anytime. This is who we are. Digital Policy Department, the one that I had, is responsible for organizing the event. We are part of the Chancellery of the Prime Minister, so work in close ties with the Prime Minister. And here are the contact details that we can be reached through. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mikael. There is a couple of questions right now. So before I open up the floor to everybody, let me just go quickly through them and see if there's anything that we can answer now. Because as we are saying, this is really to answer your questions and also to get your suggestions. Everything else that we've said here is available on our website, either the host country website or the IGF Secretariat's website. Just going up, and I'm sorry I'm doing it in reverse order. There's one, many of the vaccines given in many countries, especially developing countries, are not recognized. So many of the people, so many countries who may be interested to travel could perhaps not go there in person. Mikhail, do you want to answer that?
Yes, thank you very much. This is a good question. For all those who have concerns about not having been vaccinated with 4 big vaccines, don't worry about that. General information how to get to Poland is on the website, but if you are not enlisted, I mean, if you have not been vaccinated, please contact us directly. We will be putting together the list of participants who wish to be face-to-face in Poland, and regardless of which vaccine day they have been treated, we will be making sure that everybody who wants to be in Poland physically will be in Poland. So we are working with special services in Poland and with the Ministry of the Interior, to the effect that everybody can be let in. The information you have on the website is general information that is applicable to all people who want to enter Poland. But as I say, this does not rule out those who have been vaccinated with any other vaccine than the big 4. So don't worry, just make yourself known, send us your details. We will determine later on what kind of information will be in need from you. There is not going to be a long list of the information that will be necessary to put you on the list, just the necessary information. But as I say, the sooner you do it, the better for us. The list is being assembled as we speak, and we'll probably be looking to have it open until the end of November. So there's still a lot of time, but please, if you can't do it now, please do it now.
Right. Thank you very much, Mikhail. So you've all heard that we will be making arrangements for people who don't have the EU approved vaccines. They may have the WHO approved vaccines, but we are working on a method to for them to come to the meeting and just get in touch with the Polish visa contact person. The next questions I have, will the online session organizers have a chance for rehearsals? We usually do have a meeting, not probably rehearsals at the venue itself as such, but Lewis, I'm sure you all know Lewis, will be hosting sessions where they'll go through the hosting and what you need to do, etc. So please keep in touch on that, and we will be sending out this information to the people who have had sessions that have been approved. We'll be sending out when and where these sessions will be, and you'll be able to talk with Lewis on that. One-on-one meetings, can you organize to enable them before the IGF itself, anytime between now and December? I take it that you are saying that you would want bilateral meetings before the IGF itself? If that is the case, we'll get back to you on this one. The IGFs at Geneva, Paris, Berlin were IGFs that had considerably good attention by heads of state and governments. Would Poland build upon this trend further, perhaps together with the involvement of leaders of government, business, civil society, especially for high-level events? I think Mikhail has answered that, and yes, that is the intention. Invitations have gone out, and he has also told us that some of the people who are coming from the European Commission, ministers, etc. So yes, that is definitely what we are planning. Salma says, how will the online moderators be in communication with on-site moderator form audience questions during the sessions? As I said, everything's going to be on Zoom. People who request the floor will be requesting the floor through the app. And therefore, it doesn't matter if you're on site or off site. The order of floor request is the order that you're given the floor. It really depends on the on when you make that floor request in. And so that's how it's going to be. As soon as the moderator sees somebody's name, they can just say the name and that person will be given the floor, whether they're on site or off site. Why are the high-level panel sessions organized in the same time slots on the same days? This will bring people to make choices among high-level panel sessions. Giacomo, we'll take a look at that. They're not supposed to be concurrent, maybe one or two of them are, but we'll take a look at that and see what we can do there. Amali is asking, will there be a booth for health information? Yes, there will be a booth for health information. There's going to be well, I don't want to call it a first aid stand. It's more than that. But yes, there is going to be a health room or a first aid room, if you want to put it that way. Mark Cavell is asking Mikhail if there is a comprehensive geographical coverage among the affirmative government ministry responses, including small island states. So Mikhail, you can answer that.
Yes, thank you very much. I was just about to answer your question, Mark. Yes, for now, let me bring up some of the countries that I have confirmed, which is Mauritania, Montenegro, Holy See, Australia, Spain, San Marino, Republic of Malta, Syrian Arab Republic, United Kingdom, Switzerland, Sierra Leone, Zambia, Islamic Republic of Pakistan, Peru, Rwanda, Colombia, Senegal, Indonesia, Germany, Maldives, Guyana, France, Hungary, and Slovak Republic, and Canada. Sorry, so here are the countries from which ministers of digital affairs or high-level officials have confirmed their on-site participation already.
Right, thank you very much. There's a question. It is December in Poland. Are there fireplaces in the venue? Mikhail. It is December in Poland.
Yes.
Will there be fireplaces at the venue?
No, we're not going to have fireplaces at the venue. There are fireplaces all around the venue, but it's going to be warm. Don't worry. We'll make you warm and cozy in December. I know it's December at Silesia, but don't worry. There's going to be a fine atmosphere there.
Okay. Maria Coles asks, how will announcements of IGF sessions be organized this year? Via email sent to the registered participants, other ways? These sessions, if you look at the IGF website, you will find a schedule with all the sessions that have been approved. And all the session organizers should have had a email saying that they have been granted a session, and those who have not been granted a session should also have received an email telling them that unfortunately their session was not selected. We will also have an interactive schedule where you can make a personalized schedule, and which will also work with the IGF app that we are developing. And we are going to be I know I'm saying the word app all the time. We are going to be showcasing the new IGF website and also the IGF app on the 29th of September during the open consultations of that we're going to be holding in Geneva. And it's going to be a hybrid meeting as well. So if you're not able to attend, you can tune in online or see it later via YouTube. It would be good if people would raise their hands up and also speak. I think that would also bring this interactivity as well. So if you have a question, please raise your hand.
I believe
Judith, please.
Yeah, sorry.
Hi, yes, it's Judith Helston for the record. Question is it too late for, I know the parliamentarians to virtually come? Because I know some people some parliamentarians can't travel if they're in the Pacific areas or other areas where they're locked down. But is there is it too late for them to apply? And also the same thing for ministers, because I know people are going to be probably doing virtually. I'm not sure if the actual like ICT ministers are actually going to be traveling there, or whether will they be virtual? Thanks.
Thank you very much, Judith. No, for ministers and for members of parliament, it is not too late for them to apply. They can apply for members of parliament. A letter was sent out to all the presidents of the parliaments, but if they have not been informed, you can also just reach out to us, and we will put you on the right list and give you the right information. And this as well goes to ministers as well. Just reach out to us. We've got the generic email address, igf@un.org, or reach out to any one of us here at the Secretariat or from the Polish host country. Milton?
Hello, everybody. I'm just curious. I plan to go physically. I pretty much am making a commitment to that, but I'm concerned about sort of the critical mass problem. So is it possible to sort of poll people here and get a sense of how many actually plan to attend in person?
If you want to poll people here in this meeting, sure. I'm going to
keep track of the numbers.
I beg your pardon?
We keep track of the figures, and we have updated information. And I mean, how many people have?
Yes. I mean, for in the registration, we do have you have to select whether you're coming physically or you're doing online. But for this meeting, if we can, I will ask Lewis just to make a quick poll, and then we can see for this exact meeting now. But we are keeping track of the registration numbers where we do ask that specific question, whether people are tending to come online or physically be there. Does that answer your question, Milton? Great, thank you. Leonard?
Thank you very much, Chitai. Just a quick one in the preparations. Will the organizers have any input in terms of the technical aspect, or everything will be organized by the IGF in terms of the technical platform?
We do not encourage people to come with specific technical requirements. Okay. We have standard standard things in the room, screens, computers where you can plug in your PowerPoint presentation and things like that. But changing the rooms is not really encouraged because that's a great overhead if we have to change it for every single session. But we do have different room configurations. And when people did apply for a session, I think they did indicate what type of room layout that they wanted. But we are not really, I mean, for very special circumstances, yes, but not generally speaking, no. We do ask people to stick to the current configurations.
And this applies to the online session too, right?
Yes, the online session. If you have an online session at the IGF, you will still have a room. So it's a hybrid meeting. One is in lockstep with the other one. Even if all the panelists and the moderators are online, you will still have that room, and people can come in and sit in that room and participate.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Amrita?
Thank you, Changitai. Amrita, for the record. Changitai, I had a question. It's great that there, the app, the mobile app would help people to raise their hands just like a physical one. I was wondering, for example, if I am raising the hand from my mobile, but I'm linked from my desktop or laptop, will I be able to sync them? Because many times mobiles have a limited capability when you are viewing a session. So how would that work?
Let's just call it the Hands Up app. It's not really an elegant name, but the Hands Up app is a standalone app, and you can log on it through your phone, or you can do it through the website, and it all goes to the same place. So if you raise your hand using the web app, or raise your hand using the phone app, it's exactly the same place. So there's no difference. It will be in sync.
Thank you.
Nena, please.
Thanks. Hello, everyone. How early can we test the app? Not deploy it, but test it. That's what I'd like to do and see what it's made of. How early can we
see,
test
at the moment, it's currently in development. We do plan to show it off on the 29th of September. And hopefully it is going to be in the Google Store and the iOS store, the Apple Store, hopefully by the end of next month. So from then on, we could probably test it. So November, the whole of November, you could be able to test it. Thank you. And have we finished all the questions? Let me see if there's anything in.
Yeah, it's Judith Hellestein.
Oh,
Judith. Have we tested the app to make sure that it's accessible for people with disabilities?
That is the hope that it is. I would suspect that we have, but I will ask Lewis just to confirm. There's nothing fancy on the app. It is basically just a portal of our website. But if Lewis can just confirm that people with disabilities would be able to use it.
Absolutely, thank you, Changitai. Yes, not only that, but it has to pass all the filters of accessibility and also of multilingualism. So the app is also available in the 6 UN languages.
Right, thank you. Thank you, Lewis, and thank you, Judith, for that question. It is very, 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 very important that everything that we do we must make sure that it is accessible to the most number of people.
Changitai, it's Jerry Ellis in Dublin here. Just to add to what Judith said, it's not just the app, it's also the registration process and the premises and so on that need to be accessible. Not just assume that they are, but to test that they are.
Yes. For the venue, yes, that is very important. And from our site visits, we've seen that because the DCAD has also provided us a checklist of things to check for. And when we went to the venue, we did go through that checklist, and I think everything did check off. I mean, we're talking about ramps, we're talking about elevators and things like that. There is a checklist that we do include with our host country agreement that we run through when we visit the site. Okay. Let me just check if anybody else, if you want to raise your hands, please do. We've still got some time left for any other questions that you may have. Will there be hotel recommendations on the website soon? Would, this is Sandra's asking, would be good if they were easily reachable to and from the venue. Mikhail? Hotel recommendations.
Can you repeat the question, please? Because
will there be hotel recommendations on the host country website?
This is Victor speaking. I already answered this question. It's in the, I did paste the link. Please do visit the host country website. I did paste the link to recommended hotels, and the distance, hotel distance to the venue is also given there. I will repaste the link right now.
Okay, thank you. Jeremy is asking, concerning high-level sessions, does anyone know if invitations were sent to ministers already? Yes, invitations have been sent, and I think Mikhail was reading off some of the positive remarks that some of the positive responses that we have received. But yes, I do know sometimes letters which are sent out, they may be sent out through the missions, and crossing departments may be difficult. So if you know of a minister who would like to come and has not received an invitation, please let us know, and we will send a invitation to that specific address. Giacomo, please.
Yes, my question is to Michael, to Misha, if there is any development in the relation with the national media concerning the coverage.
Yes.
You remember we discussed a lot.
Yes, right. Thank you, Giacomo. Yes, they are. They responded. Sorry, luckily. And first, we're going to have full media coverage during the concert on the 6th. And then television will also be present during the main frame of the IGF, starting from the 7th. So we are working to the fact that they have their studio there and do media coverages and some live streams throughout their days. So it's still in development, and we still have to fine tune some of the things that we have with them. But it looks promising. I mean, not only that they responded to have the IGF present in the daily routine, but also they will be present with us during their proceedings plus the concert. And this is actually the television who is producing the concert. So they are full on with that. Okay. And it's going to be, as I said, broadcast live on the 6th. So really high profile thing to start the IGF with on Monday, December the 6th.
Okay. If you need any help in advising, because I followed the previous edition of the media coverage, so if I can be of any help, I will do for pleasure.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you, Giacomo. Adam.
Thanks, Chengetai. Adam Peake, and I'm speaking as a MAG member. Some of you will know that the MAG has had a working group on hybrid meetings since I think it started in January. So we've been thinking about how the meeting should be arranged as with an equality of participation and inclusion between those accessing online and on site. There's an FAQ, which I will post a link to in the chat, which I hope will be helpful. There's a working group which is open, as all the MAG working groups are, and you're very welcome to join. Very interested to hear questions for the FAQ. Where is there any confusion? Any thoughts, particularly about improvement, would be really helpful. So thanks very much for that. And yeah, just to go back to one point that was made very early in the chat, where the mention of remote participation was written about, and of course this has been something that's been a feature of the IGF since 2006. Remote participation. We've had remote moderators, and we've had people who've been able to dial in at the time and later on use other platforms. But the word remote sort of sums it up. You aren't within the actual conversation, you are a remote participant, and very much looked at as an afterthought. And we thought at the beginning of this MAG term that this was not what we've learned over the last 18 months. We have learned how to work online, and we should continue to do so. So a hybrid meeting for the IGF in 2021 is something that we would want to continue in some format, at least, as an ongoing feature of the IGF. It's an evolution of the notion of remote, is to ensure global participation and inclusion. So your help in getting this one right will help us get the future IGFs right as well. So thanks very much.
Thank you, Adam. And can we just put in the link to the frequently asked questions here, just so that everybody has them right on top?
Just there.
All right. Thank you very much, Adam. Bernadette. Bernadette, you're doing what I usually do. You're muted. You're still muted.
Right. Yes, I'm Bernadette Lewis from the Commonwealth Telecommunications Organization now. And I wanted to know, Chengetai, thank you very much for this session. When do you propose to have these training sessions? We're getting questions from the people on our panel that we have, the forum that we've organized within the IGF. And we want to know that we are on the ball in terms of relating to our panelists. So when do you foresee the training sessions to start to being run?
Thank you very much, Bernadette. I will just hand it over to Lewis, just to say when he's planning to give the training sessions.
Thank you very much, Chengetai. Yes, these planning sessions will be done about the month of November. So there will be some sessions, maybe one session in some time of the day, another session in the afternoon, other days, so as more people can join.
Does that answer your question, Bernadette?
Thank you. Yes, so sometime in November, but after we do the training sessions, of course, we want to have rehearsals with our panelists. So we just want to make sure there will be sufficient time to engage the panelists once we have had that training.
So, yes, so basically you're saying that we should have these trainings latest early November so that you can have your rehearsals in the second half of November. Yes, we will do that.
Definitely. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Bernadette. And we will publish also these times and inform the session organizers shortly. First week of October, we'll inform you. Yes. And then now I am just looking to see if there's any other questions. Is there a timeline for travel grants acceptance for speakers or organizers that have applied? I will hand that over to Anya.
Yes, thank you, Chengetai. So if I understood the question correctly, we closed the call for individual stakeholders to apply until end of August to attend the IGF in Katowice. In addition to that, we're also having an open call for parliamentarians to apply until the end of this month for travel support. And the domain of the travel support also extends to the NRI grants, as you said. So the NRI grants are to a good extent processed, and we are communicating with those that are approved to receive the grant. That's everything that I can say. I hope I did not miss anything. Thank you.
Does
I
that...
have a question on that. Does that relate, are there travel grants for ministers as well, or are they full on in the parliamentarian grants?
So if cabinet minister would need support, then you can write to us and we will consider on a case by case basis, of course, taking into consideration our budget capacity. So technically, through that, you can pass on those requests to me or to Chengetai or any one of the colleagues in the team.
Thanks.
Right. Thank you, Anya, and thank you, Judith. Do we have any other questions? We still got some time. We've got 15 minutes. I'm just checking the chat just to make sure that
I did have another question. I looked
yes,
on the
please,
hotel
Judith.
on the it's Judith Housing for the record. Looked on the hotel site. Are they going to be like in the other ones you had given tram passes or bus passes? Is that going to be the case? Is in Katowice, is there a system of trams or buses? Like, because it doesn't list, some hotels don't list, they're listing whether they're on tram, like the Park Inn. It just tells you distance wise, and it just say taxis, or does that mean that they're not close to a tram or a train or bus, whatever? If and are we going to be given bus passes if we get there, like we have in the last few IGFs? Thanks.
Mikael, please.
Yes, we are going to have public transport available free of charge for participants in Katowice. So we're replicating what was the case in Berlin. We're also going to have dedicated transport for high-level officials, and we're also going to have some dedicated buses and routes for which have not yet been determined, but this is going to be provided by one of the partners of the IGF. And if you want to reach the IGF from the airport and to the airport, you will have to, from the airport, you have to pay for it and use either a taxi or public transport at your own expense. But once in Katowice, all is, that transportation, municipal transportation is available free of charge to you.
Thank you, Mikael. Enoch.
Okay, thank you very much. I think there's a list of participants on the IGF website. I don't know whether that list is for everybody who has registered or is for only on-site attendance.
Could you please put the link into the chat so that we know exactly which list you're talking about?
Yes, I actually picked it from the chat. Somebody kept it on the chat.
Okay. Yes. Those are the list of the people who have currently registered, yes. For the IGF 2021. Oh, Henriette. Henriette, you have the floor. Unfortunately, Henriette has to divide her attention, so if she doesn't answer now, I'm sure she's going to come back later. Okay, Jennifer.
Is that better? Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask people in this town hall meeting who will be watching sessions asynchronously. In other words, you'll watch the YouTube broadcast of the session. How long do you feel you need, or any ideas that you have for us to wait for you to send comments? Because we would like to find a way of either using social media or some other form of people that are not able to participate in the sessions real time to still send in comments. I mean, would it be fine to do that, with, let's say, a 12-hour turnaround time, or just any ideas that you have of how to make the IGF inclusive for people who are in different time zones and who will not be watching sessions in real time? Any suggestions?
Thank you very much, Henriette. Jennifer?
Thank you, Chengetai. This is Jennifer Chung for the record. Hopefully I can be heard. I put my question in the chat, but it's actually regarding the COVID testing. I got the link, I think, sent by host country or Anya about the COVID information for Poland, and it's really good that the host country is currently working so that there's no need for any IGF 2021 on-site participants to undergo quarantine upon entry to Poland. But I was wondering if there's any testing facilities that will be on site at IGF 2021 or any such protocols. I know you mentioned before that there was going to be a health room, but just maybe if you could expand a little bit more on that in regards to COVID-19. Thank you.
Mikael?
Jennifer, thank you. Good question from you. Yes, we're going to have some testing facilities available to participants, and that will be basically for anyone who wants to be tested and be sure of the result when returning back to where you are, to your destination. We're going to it's going to be this is going to be a paid service, so you'll have to pay for it. But we are working with the Ministry of Health to the effect that there are facilities for you to have the test and use their result on your way back on your way back home. If there's any need, some airports, some airliners want to see the test result before letting you on board. So for all those who will be in need for such a document, the service is there for you. If this answers your question, Jennifer.
Thank you, Mikael. Jennifer, does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you, Mikael.
Thank you. We had a question about accessible hotel rooms and accessible transport system. Are there hotel rooms? I know there's hotel rooms that are accessible. I'm not too sure about the transport, but these are, for instance, buses that you can put wheelchairs in, or people who have got walkers can go in easily, etc.
Yes, it's accessible by default in Poland. I mean, in a city as big as Katowice, all the transportation system that is available to citizens is really accessible. So no problem with that.
Thank you very much, Mikael. And thank you for these questions. I mean, all these questions makes us double check and recheck and just make sure that we have everything in order. So all your questions are all very welcome. And don't be afraid to ask any questions. And I'm just checking again. Okay, I don't see any question as such that we have not answered in some form or
I think
another?
Secretary is Judith Helping. I think
Yes,
what
Judith.
Jerry was asking is, will the hotel rooms, any of the hotel rooms have Braille lettering on them, or making us things that make it easier for people with disabilities or visual disabilities and the stations? But I guess they also could use the buses that you said you were setting up special buses for people. And I think that maybe, I hope I wasn't misinterpreting Jerry's question, but if not, Jerry.
No. I mean, I think Mikhail did answer that by default. Polish legislation says that people with disabilities have to be catered for. I do remember when I went there, this was in 2019? I'm not too sure, that there were specifically hotel rooms for people with disabilities, with wider toilets and the bathroom, especially set up, etc. So if somebody with disabilities would want to go there, yes, they would be there. And Mikhail just confirmed that as far as public transport is concerned, there's provisions made for people with disabilities as part of the Polish. It's not just special for the IGF, but just part of the Polish legislation, the society looking after all its people.
Chengetai, Jerry here. I think part of my question was, if some of the rooms that are accessible, that are near the venue, could they be reserved specifically for people with disabilities? Because they're the rooms that will fill up quickest. So can they be reserved to ensure that they are available for people with disabilities?
Yes, and what we would also request is that when you fill in the registration form, please do indicate that you would want a room, and then we will make sure that it is reserved, so that we know registration is now open. So when you do register, please fill in, there's a space there for special requests. So if you do fill in that place, we'll make sure that something is done. Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Okay, we have 4 minutes left, so I will close the floor now unless somebody has thought of something. If not, I would just like to thank you. Oh, Fred is the last person, and then we'll close. Fred, please.
All right, thank you very much for the opportunity. I think someone made a request for input as to how we are going to receive comments, questions from participants who, for certain time zone reasons, will not be able to be available in real time during the active sessions. So I think with that, we'll be able to, first of all, use some create a hashtag that we'll be using across the social media platforms, so that we're able to query the hashtag to get questions that people are bringing on board, or comments that they are trying to add to their sessions that would be ongoing. So whether you are actively available in real time, or you are because of time zone reasons, you are not available, if you put your question to the hashtag, I'm sure we'll be able to pick the feed from there, and then we will put into the active sessions. So that can be one of the major sections. And then maybe we can also look at the app that we are building, if we can also incorporate that into the app, so that the app will be able to fetch the feedback right into the sessions, so that it will be more like a seamless real-time session. So thank you very much. I think because of the time, I have to end here.
Okay, thank you very much, Fred, for that very useful and constructive suggestion. And I'm sure we'll be able to implement something similar to what, along the lines of what you are suggesting. Thank you. So just to conclude, before I give the floor to Mikael and to Henriette to give any last words, I just want to remind everybody, please do register so that we know how many people are coming. If you have any special requests, please also put that into the registration form so that we are prepared well in advance and we know how many people to cater for, and we know these things. And also, please, there's the preparatory phase. You're all invited to participate in that, and we do all encourage you to participate in the preparatory phase because it also helps you better be prepared for the meeting in Katowice, whether you're participating online or offline. Keep up to date with the debate and where we are, and then at the end of the Katowice meeting we can have some real concrete outcomes or real concrete next steps for whichever issue that you decide to participate in. And just also a reminder on the third open consultations and MAG meeting, 29th of September to the 1st of October. Please, you can participate online as well. It's going to be in a hybrid format. And I also invite everybody to subscribe to the IGF 2021 newsletter and the social media channels so that you can keep up to date with everything that's going on and any developments that could come to this. And I also like to remind everybody that if you have any suggestions, it doesn't really matter whether you think they're they're small suggestions or large suggestions. Please send us an email, igf@un.org, and we will take a look at them and see what we can do about it. So I will first of all give the floor to Mikael if he has any final words.
Changtai, thank you very much. Not really much to add. Thank you for this session, and thank you for all the questions you posed. And I would really encourage you to go to Katowice to make this trip and make this effort to be with us physically. They're going to be not just the IGF and its standard agenda. We're going to have a lot of side events, and Katowice is a really fun city, and no matter what they say about a winter in Poland, it's going to be warm and cozy for you. So please make sure to be there with us. And there's going to be also the IGF after party, which is the weekend right after the IGF. It's going to be a huge hackathon, and it's back to back with the main event. So if you book your places, make sure to book for the whole week. And Poland's going to be, we are doing our best for Poland to be the safest place in terms of COVID. So if this is what stands in your way, please work with us, and we'll be doing our best to provide a solution for you in terms of accommodating all the needs you might have in terms of that. This is really important for us to welcome you in Katowice, to have you safe and to have you entertained. So once again, please feel invited, and we will be seeing you there. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mikael. And you forgot to mention the food, the world-class food.
Oh yeah,
it is incredible. Henriette, please.
Thanks very much, Michael. Thanks, Shangatai. Thanks everyone for joining. And please know that you are welcome, you are invited, irrespective of whether you can be there face-to-face or not. And we know that many people won't be able to. And even if you cannot be there in person, you still can be part of the event. And that's what we try to do. And just remember, this is a collective effort. You know, the IGF model is about the MAG, the Secretariat, and the host country facilitating a process for you, for people in the community to organize your workshops, to raise your concerns, to express your hopes and your frustrations. And that's not changing. So really, whether this works or not, and our wallet works, it will be a collective success, and it's a collective challenge, and we are meeting it collectively. So thanks everyone for being part of this challenging but important and exciting project.
Thank you very much, Henriette. And thank you all for participating. I know it's very late for some and very early for others. So thank you.
Oh.
Right.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone.